Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are well and learning with language and linguistics. Today we are going to talk about presuppositions. In our fourth lecture on pragmatics, we are going to go through presupposition, entailment, and types of presupposition. Presupposition is an important concept in pragmatics. This term is derived from the Latin word suppose and literally means are to put under. According to George Rule, 1996, presupposition is something the speaker assumes to be case prior to make an utterance. It has been associated with the use of a large number of words, phrases, structure. A speaker utters something based on his assumption or the hearer is likely to know is also called presupposition. According to given, presupposition refers to assumption the speaker or writer makes about what the hearer or reader is likely to accept without challenge. As you can say, presupposition is speaker's assumption and anticipation about the listeners prior to make an utterance. And finally, presuppositions are the common ground between the speaker and the listener. Speakers have presupposition, not the sentence, and presupposition is not stated by the speaker or writer explicitly in the utterance. The speaker believes that the listener has the same assumption with him. It means that the listener takes it for granted and is known or accepted by the listener or reader as the basic information of the utterance, even if he or she is not really aware of it. In pragmatic approach, presupposition is the background knowledge that is not stated in an utterance, but it is common to the speaker or writer and the listener or reader, so they don't need to elaborate some information to make the listener understand what the speaker intends. Grundy states that the presupposition is about the existing knowledge common to the speaker or writer and listener or reader that the speaker or writer does not therefore need to assert. Let's have a look on examples of presupposition. How do you lose your weight? Here, speaker assumes or presupposes that the listener has weight, so he or she is asking. Your newspaper articles are amazing. Here, speaker knows the listener is a writer. And the third one is John's wife is sick. Here, speaker knows that there is someone who is called John and he has his wife who is not feeling well. This is the speaker's presupposition that is shared by the listener. There are two important approaches to presupposition. First one is semantic, second is pragmatic. Semantically, presupposition deals with the truth value and pragmatically depends on context and deals with the shared non-controversial knowledge. Secondly, presupposition is a relation between a sentence and proposition according to semantic approach. In contrast, presupposition is a relation between a speaker and a proposition in pragmatics approach. Semantically, presupposition focuses on the truth value of semantic content and agreement between sentence and reality. Truth value itself is defined as a parameter describing the proposition of a sentence. Example, all bachelors are unmarried. Here, truth value is true. Concept background is that bachelor implies that anyone who is bachelor must be unmarried and a man. Cannot use same word bachelor for a female. Similar, have you stopped playing football? Sentence is inappropriate if the addressee have never played football. Producer is said to presuppose or assume the truth of the fact that the addressee used to play football. Let's have a look on entailment. Entailment is something that logically follows from the asserted in the utterance. Logical consequence is termed as entailment. Sentences have entailment, not the speaker. Relationship between two sentences where the truth or felicity of one sentence requires sentence number two must also be true or false. For example, Trump is responsible to take all decision about the USA security as a president. Here, Trump is the president of the USA is the entailment that can be inferred from the sentence number one. Important types of presupposition are potential presupposition, analysis of how background belief of speaker or writer becomes the listener or reader assumptions are typically expressed as presupposition that has been associated with the use of a large number of words, phrases, and the linguistic forms here are considered as indicators of potential presupposition, which can only become actual presupposition in context between the participants, according to Yule. Potential presupposition means that the possible presupposition of an utterance, it is assumption typically associated with the use of linguistic forms. For example, the PM of Pakistan is bald. This sentence has two presuppositions. There is someone who is the president or the prime minister of Pakistan, and this person who is called the Prime Minister of Pakistan is bald. Second type of presupposition is existential or possessive presupposition. This presupposition shows in possessive construction and more generally in a definite noun phrase. For example, your book, your house, yours, mine. Your house is beautiful is a sort of possessive construction. The king of France, the cat, the girl I saw in the valley was beautiful is a kind of definite noun phrase. Mary saw the man, the blue eyes. Existential presupposition is the entity name. The man, the speaker assumes that the hearer has already known which man that is intended by the speaker. Second type is factive presupposition that describes facts by certain verbs like knows, realize, regret, aware, and glad. For example, everybody knows John is jobless and poor. Here, John is poor and jobless is a fact. The sun sets in the west. Here, the sun sets is I regret telling you that you could not get this job. Here, I tell you and I am informing you. Next type of presupposition is lexical presupposition. In lexical presupposition, use of one form with its asserted meaning is conventionally interpreted with the presupposition that another non-asserted meaning is understood. In utterance of someone that worked as a shopkeeper, my boss managed to sell the bookstore before it crashed. She stopped smoking means she used to smoke. You're already late. Someone is late before. When the shopkeeper said that the boss managed, there is presupposition the boss are trying to do something. Other examples involve lexical items like stop, forget, and again. These are called lexical presupposition. Next type is structural presupposition. It's the assumption associated with the use of certain words and phrases and assumed to be true. WH question construction in English are conventionally interpreted with the presupposition that the information after the WH form is already known to be case. For example, when did he leave? He left. Where did you buy the bike? Here, WH question form shows the structural presupposition. Final is non-factive presupposition. It's the assumption that is assumed not to be true and is identified by the presence of some verb such as dream, image, and pretend. Those are used with presupposition what is not true. For example, I dreamed I was rich. I was not rich. That is the fact. We imagine we are in Hawaii. You are not in your desired place. So it's non-fact presupposition. He pretends to be ill. He is not ill. He is alright. That is the fact. So he is pretending to be ill. Non-factive presupposition. Indicators of potential presuppositions: existential, factive, non-factive, lexical, structural, and counterfactual, or all the types of presupposition within the umbrella of potential presupposition. So existential is X that exists, and presupposition is X exists. Factive, I regret leaving, and the fact is I left. Non-factive, he pretended to be happy, and the fact is he wasn't happy. Lexical, he managed to escape, and preposition is tried to escape. Structure, presupposition is when did she die, and the statement or presupposition is she died. Counterfactual is if I were not ill, the presupposition is I am ill. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe Language and Linguistics.